Hello, dog lover. My name is Saro. I'm a dog trainer, also coach dog owners. Welcome to another live session. Hope you're doing well and hope you're ready to learn some dog training and talk about dogs and understand your dog better so you can solve dog behavioral issues that you have with your dog. Feel free to ask your questions in the chat area. Yeah, we're going to start the session in a moment, and hopefully you can hear me and see me well. If everything is good, let me know in the chat area everything is good, and also give me a thumbs up if you have enjoyed the sessions and the videos that I have created so far. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel and also hit the bell icon as well, so you would get notification as soon as I post my next video or if I go live next time. And if you're a repeat viewer of the channel, welcome back. Thank you for supporting and thank you for being here. In a moment, I'm going to start answering your questions. First of all, I wanted to inform you that if you have major behavioral issues and you need someone to help you, and if you need a one-on-one session with me, and if you want to work with me, I have something called virtual Zoom dog training, which is basically for anybody who's not in area that I am and local and wants to work with me, can work with me. So stay tuned for more information on that coming up in the chat in the show today. And I'm gonna explain a little bit more. We have a question, and there is already one question from Andrea, and I'm gonna start answering your questions. Feel free again to ask your questions in the chat area. If you also want, you can follow me on Instagram at Saro Dog Training. Just to let you know that you can join my Instagram and follow me there as well. So let me answer the question that has come already, which is from Andrea. How do I get my recently rescued from kill shelter, who's a 7 years old small dog, to stop being possessive of his toys? He has bit me over believing I want his toy when truly didn't. So the dog you just rescued recently, and it's 7 years old, and is being possessive over his toys. So this is a good question, and I think many people have dogs who are possessive over something. Either is a toy or a piece of bone or food, or could be anything. There are dogs who are possessive, and let's find out first of all, why is it that dogs become possessive, and then if we understand why they're becoming possessive, then we can figure out how to solve it. So the reason they become possessive is because in their mind they're creating this entertainment, this game in their mind, that this is what I want to do to entertain myself and to make myself feel happy. So that behavior, it makes them feel good. It gives them something to do. It allows them to stimulate themselves in a way. So they're looking forward when a person or another animal tends to approach their toy or food or the bone or whatever it is. That's the time they actually start being stimulated. So what that means is, let's say this happens every time you feed the dog, or every time you want to play with the dog, or every time the dog has a toy. That moment is the most important time for that dog. The other 23 hours of the day, it's boring. But as soon as there's a toy or there's a bone or there's a food involved, and they know that they can um, play this game in their mind and in a way with you that, hey, don't touch my toy or ball, and they growl and things like that. That's the time they get entertained. So that means that your dog is not stimulated enough throughout the day, so therefore has become creative to create this game that I'm gonna play this game in my own mind, that I'm gonna play a game of possessiveness. I'm gonna possess this. I'm gonna play this game in my mind. So that's what happens. That's the mindset, and that's the psychology of a dog who has um, possessiveness. Does it make sense? So what does that tell us? That tells us that this dog is not stimulated enough throughout the day. So therefore, what it happens is they come up with their own games and ideas to stimulate themselves. So what you need to do is you have to focus on providing your dogs daily 5 essential needs. And you've seen me saying this and telling you all the time. Let me see if I can share the screen with you so you can see it. So every time a dog who's possessive in this case, that means is not stimulated, that means its daily 5 essential needs are not being provided. And what are those daily 5 essential needs? There are exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection. So if you don't provide your dog's needs, they will become creative. So some dogs, what they do, they become possessive over toys and food and bones and things like that. Some dogs become diggers, they dig the yard. Some dogs become barkers, they bark at everything. Some dogs become pullers, they pull on the leash and they want to stimulate themselves that way. So all these things are results of a dog who's not being stimulated properly throughout the day. That's because you're not providing their daily 5 essential needs, which are exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection. It has to be provided in that order. So exercise is something that many people are either doing too much or too little. They're not either doing enough or they're doing too much, right? So you have to provide proper amount of exercise for your dog. And that means depending on your dog and the size and age and energy level, you have to provide a good amount of exercise for that dog. Training is something that no dog owner does it on a daily basis. They only do it when either they have a dog who has some behavioral issues, or they just do it when they get their dog as a puppy. Training is something that you have to do it on a daily basis with your dog. So exercise is a physical stimulation. Training is a mental stimulation. And socialization is also social stimulation. Dogs need social stimulation as well. So a dog needs to have a good amount of daily exercise, physical stimulation, training, mental stimulation, socialization, social stimulation, care, proper care, and everything has to be provided properly for them. And then affection. Affection is not the main thing that a dog needs. Many people, especially those who adopt or rescue a dog, that's the first thing that they focus on providing to that dog. Oh, poor guy, poor dog. He had a horrible time in the kennel and in the kill shelter and had a horrible time. They fall into that trap and they only share affection, affection, affection. And they forget that it doesn't really matter that much in this case. We need to provide proper exercise, training, socialization, care. And then if you have done all that properly, then we can share affection. Then we can give affection to the dog. Then we can say, you know what? I have done my share, my part, which is provide this dog what it needs, then I can share affection. So if you do that way, you'll see that that behavior is going to start fading away. So I guarantee you, Andrea, that because you have a rescue dog, you have fallen in that trap and you have focused on providing affection, some care, maybe a little bit of exercise here and there, but you have to learn to provide your newly adopted dog its daily 5 essential needs in this order, which is exercise first, training, and then socialization, care, and then affection. If you do that, you'll see in a week or in a month or in a few months that behavior of possessiveness is going to go away. Now, additional tip to this question is when a dog is possessive, when a dog is chewing the furniture, when a dog is barking at the neighbors and everything, when a dog is doing all kinds of wrong things in your mind, those are signals that your dog is stressed, is not happy with life. So why is it not happy? Why is it stressed? Because you don't provide their daily 5 essential needs. So that's my answer to this question. Hope it makes sense. Keep asking your questions. I would love to help you out with every situation that you have with your dog. Thank you for the question, Andrea. And next question is from Stacy. My puppy is a German Shepherd. He whines during the nighttime. How do I get him to be quiet? I need a little bit more details about this question, but I can guess what's happening. And Stacy, you can correct me if I'm not guessing properly. So I'm guessing that you have a German Shepherd puppy and you have your puppy in some other room, some other place, letting it to sleep, and it's not sleeping and it's whining all night and it bothers you. So if that's the case, which based on this question, that's what I'm reading, that's what's happening. So first of all, if you have a puppy, you have to consider that your puppy during the night has to get up and go do its business as well. They can't hold it all night. If they're puppies, they have to go. Most puppies, they have to go a couple of times during the night too. So you have to have some sleepless nights until the puppy is potty trained, until it's able to hold its bladder and deal with it, and then hope that the puppy is going to sleep throughout the night. And the other thing is, I would suggest you to place your puppy in a crate and place the crate beside your bed. That will help the puppy to feel more secure, more relaxed, and therefore is not bothering you in the bed, is not being bothered sleeping in the bed with you. You can sleep throughout the night. And also it can see you, kind of, it can smell you, it can feel you, and it can feel secure that it's sleeping by you, right? And that will help it to relax and be quiet and sleep all night. Those are my 2 cents, basically 2 suggestions that I have. Hope those help. Let me know if there's any additional information you can share or if I was right. Next question is from XX. My big Labrador randomly attacks me and jumps. Labradoodle randomly attacks me and jumps up when he's excited. That's an interesting question. That reminds me of, I just did a session with a client via Zoom virtually, where she had this owner of this dog had the same issue of the dog was jumping and couldn't control it and the dog was jumpy, excited. So I helped her how to deal with it. So if you want, you can also join me virtually to work a little bit more in details and solve this problem. But basically is when here's the overall look of it and answer to this problem. When we have a dog who jumps on people, that means this dog is always allowed to jump on people, right? Whether on you or whether on your friends or family members, everybody, you have allowed this dog to jump on them. Now, there are some times that you don't want to jump, and you say stop it, but the dog doesn't know and continues jumping. So in a way, you have to understand that dogs, we say they're black and white. They're not colorful like humans. They're either yes or no. You are allowed to jump or you're not allowed to jump. If you are clear about this to your dog, that will make it much easier to deal with this issue. Not only this issue, other issues as well. It'll make it easier for anybody to deal with their dogs. Because you can't say, okay, today you can jump on me, but tomorrow, because we have guests, you can't jump on me or jump on the guest. Dogs don't understand this concept because we can't explain this. We can't verbally explain this to dogs. They don't understand this. And unfortunately, what happens when a dog learns and gets used to jumping on people, and when you don't want them to jump and you start yelling at them or getting physical with them or things like that, the dog says, what is happening? What is going on? What is wrong with these humans? I'm always been able to jump, and today, for some reason, is not allowing me to jump. What's wrong with them? They don't see the concept that you don't want them to jump at this moment only. You have to be clear. You have to either teach the dog to jump and allow the dog to jump to everybody, or don't let the dog jump from the beginning or at all. So you either teach it or you allow it. You teach it to not to jump, or you don't allow it to happen at all. So for example, my own dog jumps on me, right? And she jumps on people, some people too, right? If she likes them, she goes and jumps and gives kisses to them and all that. So I'm careful about the people that I allow her to go and jump, because it's something that I love to do it. I love when she comes and gives me a hug and jumps and hugs me and we give kisses and all that. So I want to keep that, right? So it's not that I'm saying don't do it. I'm saying do it, but I'm going to control and manage it. So you have to either control or manage it, or you have to teach the dog to not to do it at all. So the way you teach it not to do it at all is a little bit physical, technical, a little bit training needs to be done. I'm just gonna tell you that if you need details on how to learn to do it, just join me to work with me one-on-one. Wherever in the world you are, you can join my virtual Zoom dog training and work with me and learn how to do it properly. And the link is basically go to sarodogtraining.com, right? That's my website. All the information is there. And I'm going to share the link in the chat area, which is www.sarodogtraining.com. In these days, you don't even have to use the www, but what it is basically a website, sarodogtraining.com. You just go to my website. All right. So hopefully that helps. Gave you some ideas to think about and work. Philip is the next question from Philip. I have two boys around 2 years old, Pom and Maltese, and they start peeing everywhere inside home, even when I go for walking every day. And it's going worse and worse. What should I do? So when you have two dogs and this is happening, they're peeing inside of the house, that's a clear sign that there's something going on in the house. Something is bothering them. Something is causing them to be stressed. And the reason they're peeing inside of the house, even though you walk them, it's not because they can't hold it and they have to go. Is to tell you, to give you a signal to you and also the other dog that something is bothering me, something is stressing. That's you see, that's the way dogs communicate. That's the way dogs have conversation with us. That's the way dogs give us messages. Unfortunately, because they can't talk to us, they can't say, hey, this is something that is bothering me. Can we have a sit and chat and talk about this? They can't do that. So instead, they take actions. They do things to get you understand that there's something bothering them. So these two dogs of yours could be that they're, I'm not sure the details. Maybe you brought another dog later on where the first one is a little bit stressed now that you brought another dog in the house. Or the second one is not liking the first one. Or it could be that, this is other thing that people don't realize. When you have a dog and you want to bring another dog, you can't just bring any dog. You have to make sure that they're matching, their energy or their personality matches. So I'll give you my own case. So I have had Harvey first, and then I brought Annie. So as soon as I brought Annie to our home, Harvey didn't like it. Harvey was not happy that there was another dog in the house, right? And until now, even though we have had Annie for a year and a half now, he's still not 100% happy about Annie. And he is giving cold shoulders to Annie. That's because she is not the perfect match for Harvey. But when I had Harvey and Jonah, they were a perfect match. They were like bros together. Harvey loved Jonah's energy. Harvey loved being with Jonah. Harvey wanted so much to be accepted by Jonah, and Jonah accepted him. They were hanging out together, playing together, sleeping together, all the things. Whereas now the tables have turned, and Annie is trying so hard to be accepted by Harvey, right? And Harvey is giving all kinds of cold shoulders. But Annie is still trying. Harvey is kind of like, okay, since we are forced to live together, I'll accept you, right? So they're hanging out together, but they're not fully happy. Annie doesn't care. Annie is happy just to be living a life, right? Where Harvey is like, I don't want this girl all the time with me. I need a break, right? Annie's energy is very different than Harvey, right? Even though they are different, also they are different ages, so that's also the reason. But like Harvey won't go and pee in the house or things like that. He does other stuff to tell me that I don't like this, right? So I take care of him. I make sure that he's not super stressed. And I want them to, this is my wish. I want them to be good together, but that's my human wish that wants that. In doggy world, it works differently. If they're not matched together, if not, they don't have a good energy together, they get really super stressed. And when they are peeing in the house, that's the sign that they are super stressed. Could be the dogs that they are stressing each other. Could be even that maybe, I don't know, for example, Philip, I'm just going to give a guess. For example, maybe you broke up with your girlfriend, and your girlfriend was a big part of your life, and they were seeing her all the time, for example, and all of a sudden she's not there anymore, right? So that can cause stress in dogs. I had a case that the homeowner changed the fridge. They took out the old fridge and put the new fridge. That stressed the dog because it was a new fridge. Now, the fridge had caused stress in the dog. So it depends on your dog's personality characteristics. They may be sensitive. Some dogs are very sensitive. They pick up on little things and just make a big deal in their mind. And if that's happening, that's because they're stressed, and you're kind of now have an idea. Okay, that yes, it sounds like they are stressed, and I know why they are stressed. The solution is again to focus on providing your dog's daily 5 essential needs, which are exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection, in that order. And if you provide those, you'll see that you're going to help them to distress themselves, and you're going to help them to be a little bit more stimulated properly throughout the day and not focus on negative things, and enjoy life a little bit more and leave different messages to you. You never know. They may start doing something else. They may not pee, but they may do other stuff. But hopefully that will change their energy level and will help you to come up with a better plan to distress them and help them. So just take it as that they're giving you a message. Hopefully that helps. Next question is from Word of Cora. We have a rescue dog who reacts to everyone who walks by, even from the window of the car. He barks and barks and jumps towards them. How can I change this? By the way, guys, if you are enjoying the show so far, make sure to give it a thumbs up, give it a like, share this channel with your friends and family members, every dog lover that you have, and also make sure that you subscribe to the channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Let's spread the love and help everybody else who has dog problems join us today. Okay, so this is a common issue as well. There are dogs who are kind of, I would say, protective of the car, and they're possessing. In the beginning we talked about possession. So this is a behavior that is a wider range of possession. So, for instance, in the beginning we talked about a dog who's possessive with the toy. So your dog now is possessive with the environment and larger thing, right? So it's possessive. It's a good problem to have if you want to protect your car, your property, your home, and things like that. That is when some people ask me, I want to train my dog to become protection dog. You can't train your dog to become protection dog. Your dog should have been born protection dog already. They have to have the drive in themselves to be protection dogs. You can teach them to become protection dogs. So your dog could be one of those dogs who has been born as a protection dog. You didn't mention what kind of dog it is. If you could mention in the chat area what kind of dog it is. but I'm guessing is one of those working breeds, one of those breeds that is probably kind of designed and bred for protection. Um, but there are dogs who also, for example, a beagle could become a protective dog too if has the drive in it, right? So your dog has this drive of being protective and possessive of the property or whatever is in his mind is thinking of being possessive. So unfortunately or fortunately, depends on how you want to look at this problem that you have. Your dog, is good to have a dog who's protective. Like, I want to have a dog that can protect my property, my things, right? Which is good. I like that. But also I need to have control over that dog. So the only training that you're doing as to these dogs is to train them to be under control, to turn it off and on, control, to be able to say, okay, protect, okay, stop protecting. That's the only training that you're doing. Otherwise, you have a dog who's, well, you're saying he's a mixed breed. We're not sure what kind. That's the thing. When you have a mixed breed, there could be several several breeds of protection dogs in it too. You know what I mean? Interesting, right? So how do you change it? By understanding, first of all, what you have. You have a dog who could be a protective dog, and you have to allow it to do it. You have to allow this dog to do that style of living. That's the reason it was born. That's what it's made of. That's what made for. It has been bred and designed and has been born to do this job. You have to allow this dog to do it. Now, the only way you train it to control and manage it is by doing something like what is the trainer on Netflix has a show, Just. I don't know if you've watched the show on Netflix. There's this dog trainer that works with protection dogs, right? Trains them. So that's what you need to do. If you have a heavy situation that the dog needs to do that work, you have to go that route. You have to go and work with a trainer to change the demeanor of the dog and start controlling and managing the dog. Protection. You have to work with a protection trainer, protection dog trainer specialist. But if it's just minor, it's one of those situations that just barks because it wants to do it and protects the car and all that, and you want to just control it and see if you're going to be able to control it and manage it, then you have to start training it seriously from basic obedience, improve the basic obedience, improve the intermediate levels of obedience, and then improve the advanced level of obedience. By training the dog, you'll be able to control the dog. And you'll be able to get to that level that you will be able to say to the dog, stop it and don't stop it. Do it. That's the suggestion that I have. So it's something that, you have to work on it. It doesn't go away. There is no magic finger that you can flip and click and everything is done. That you have a dog who is designed and born for this, you have to work with it. You can't just do one thing and that's it. Training is very important in these dogs, because if you don't train it, what happens, this dog is going to start working 24/7, and never relax, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. You know those people who work a lot, overwork, how their lives are, how their health is. That's what's going to happen. But those people who can shut down work and say, you know what, I'm going to work from 9 to 5, and 5 o'clock, boom, I'm turning off the work, I'm going home and I'm taking care of family and all that. Work stays at work, family stays at family. They can separate that. You need to create that situation with your dog, that your dog can separate that. If you don't, your dog is going to work 24/7, then it's going to get worse and worse. Okay, word of Cora. Hopefully that helps. If there's any additional questions or follow-up information that you need, let me know in the chat area and I'll share some additional information. Next question is from Angie. I have a little Beagle puppy, but he keeps biting. How do I stop it? Biting is something that a puppy will do naturally. So there are two reasons that happens. One is because they're teething. So puppies, they are replacing their puppy teeth with adult teeth. So that when that happens, it kind of bothers their gums. It kind of irritates their gum. So for that, they start biting things to give some stimulation and relax the gums, right? So that's why they bite and chew things, right? Because it gives them that relaxation. The other reason they do it is because it's something that puppies do to practice biting, hunting. Animals, they bite and kill and hunt and kill and do that. They use their mouth, right? They need to use their mouth. That's something like, when the kids, human kids, for example, they're growing older, they start, you've seen like boys, they will start using shovels and trucks and start, they start playing games like that. And then maybe girls play with dolls and dress up and cooking. Maybe they have a kitchen and maybe they do, naturally they're kind of drawn towards those games. So puppies and animals, they're naturally drawn to this kind of game, which is biting. So you have to provide an opportunity for your Beagle puppy to have puppy friends or dog friends to play with, so you can practice the biting and natural games with other dogs. It's something that this day and age, many people, especially with the pandemic that is happening, they're not allowing their puppies to go and play with other puppies. One is because of social distancing, and the other one is because the vets are saying, you shouldn't be letting your puppy to go and hang out with other dogs, which is a wrong information that they're giving. Puppies can go and get involved with other dogs and play with them. They have natural immunity from mother already given to them. So you don't have to worry, and just let your puppy play with other dogs, other good dogs or other puppies. And I have posted a link in the chat area that I explain a little bit more in a video about beagles and puppies and biting. Go ahead and watch that and learn a little bit more. Hope that helps. Next question is from June T. My Beagle, 18 weeks old, keeps pulling during walks. How do I stop that? I just did a video on my channel, which we talked about, dogs pulling on the leash. The reason for that is, let me see if I can show it to you. Let me share the screen with you. Share. There we go. So let's just quickly watch this video so you have an understanding of the explanation. Many of you have asked me to make a video about how to deal with a dog who's pulling on the leash. I have one of those dogs actually. This is Annie, my own dog, and she tends to pull on the leash, right? She's always at the end of the leash. So how do we solve this problem? So I'm going to give you some solutions. This is not your average dog training or dog trainer tip, but one thing that you have to understand is when it comes to your dog who's pulling on the leash, the solution is not to force the dog to walk like this, right? This is what you want. You want your dog to walk like this, but you're forcing the dog to walk beside you, which is not natural. It's not normal for a dog who's pulling on the leash.
Welcome to Saro Dog Training Channel. Subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can learn the benefits and fun of training dogs without the use of treats or food. Train and change your dog's behavior by using play and praise reward system and without the use of treats, aversive tools or methods, force, domination, or being alpha.
Yes, I don't want my dog's pulling my shoulder out of its socket by pulling me down, like halfway down the street while I'm on lead, but I actually don't care. As long as my dog is comfortable on the lead and there isn't pulling, I don't care where my dog wants to be. I don't care if they want to be in front of me or behind me or to the side. And certainly from that perspective of like teaching our dogs or expecting our dogs to be right by our side all the time, that's a big ask, and there's actually a lot of pressure on the physical body. The dog's skeletal system is, as a canine, yes, if they're off on a hunt, they may kind of do that heel work if they're off on a hunt, because there's kind of this information of how, almost like how I see it as a flock of birds. When they're on a hunt and they're that aligned and that tight knitted together, they're moving like a flock of birds. But if they're roaming, exercising, having freedom, like if you watch canines move naturally, if you watch street dogs, even just your own dog, as humans, we tend to walk in a straight line. That's how we are made as our skeletal system. Dogs naturally are seekers, are foragers, are searchers. They're supposed to move and meander like a river, not in a straight line. So that movement for me is then what freedom are we giving our dogs to move?
So the first clue of having a dog who's pulling on the leash is that your dog is a seeker and explorer. So when you block a dog who's a seeker and explorer, and force it to walk like this, you're going to be causing a lot of physical, mental issues, first in your dog, and also in you, right? You're forcing yourself to get the dog to walk like this, which is not natural. So a seeker and explorer type of dog needs to have that option of seeking and exploring. So the best thing is to loosen up the leash and let the dog just walk. All right, I hope that gave you a different perspective now when it comes to walking your dog, okay? So have this in mind, that dogs are not supposed to be walking right beside us. That is not natural. That is not normal. You can train the dog to do that, but it is normally and naturally is not something that you should force the dog to do. It's something that you can train the dog throughout the time and get the dog to learn how to walk beside you if you want, whenever you ask it to come. But let's say if you're going for a half an hour walk, you can't ask the dog to walk beside you for half an hour. That is torture to a dog. That is not natural. That is not normal. You could ask the dog to walk beside you and without pulling on the leash and all that properly, but you can't ask the dog to walk beside you. That's mainly what many people want. They want the dog to walk beside them, which is very unnatural. Really, it's not healthy. That's not a walk. When I tell people to take their dogs for a walk, I say, have this in mind, that it is your dog's walk. It's not your walk. It's not for you. it's for your dog. And if it's for your dog, you have to let your dog do whatever it wants during the walk. But you can train a dog to walk beside you if you have to, if you want to, if you want to get to that point, which you can learn that by watching the video that I'm going to share in the chat area. Walk your dog beside you. I'm going to call that video Walk Your Dog Beside You, and the video link is in the chat area. You can go ahead and watch it, June, and learn how to do it actually. Hope that helps. The next question is from Wendy. Wendy is asking, I have a little beagle, and when he poops, he eats it. This is I dealt with it myself too, and many people are dealing with it. The reality is that it is natural and normal for dogs to do that. They have first of all, it is something that is normal in their mind that to do that. So it's normal for them. And it's normal for dogs to eat poop because they can very well digest it and take care of it and kill all the bacteria and all the microbes and all those things in their stomach and deal with it. So in that point of view, they're okay, right? But the reason they eat, it could be the problem. Most common reason why a dog would turn around and eat its poop right away is because they're lacking something in their digestion. If they're not getting what they need to get from their food, they're going to look for something to take in to help with the digestion or also to get nutrition. So if you take a look at your dog's poop, Beagle's poop, you could see you may see undigested food. If you see that and your Beagle is eating it, it's because it hasn't been able to digest that food, so it's trying again. Or could be that thinks by eating this can help to digest the future food. So they're kind of being a doctor to their own problem that they have. Naturally they're healing themselves. Naturally they're trying to come up with solutions, right? So I will look into what is it that I'm feeding my dog that is causing this. The main reason is because you're feeding a dog food that is not ideal for your dog. May I guess that you're feeding your dog kibble? This happens commonly in dogs who are kibble feeder. They are fed kibble. So by changing the food, the diet, you will increase the opportunity for the dog to have a healthier digestion. So therefore it will stop or reduce that act. So probably, again, yes, the dog is lacking nutrients, so it's trying to come up with a way to solve this problem. So you have to feed the dog, your Beagle, a food or a diet that is full of nutrients, vitamins, proper vitamins. Basically, is, in my opinion, the best diet for dogs is raw diet, which is raw meat and some vegetables. Basically, what I feed my Beagles is raw meat, 75% raw meat, 25% green leafy juiced vegetables, 1 egg, a fish, whatever fish you can provide that day, a chicken neck, That's it. That's what my dogs eat. And they don't eat their poop, right? Because they're getting enough nutrients from that diet. They used to eat my both beagles, actually, my all beagles actually. They, I remember Jonah, I think you used to eat too. They eat because they're telling us again, I'm lacking something. So you have to figure out what is it lacking that you have to provide. So for instance, we didn't used to give raw egg for our dogs, for our beagles, and we started giving raw eggs. That solved kind of the problem, I'm guessing, right? So you just have to adjust it. You have to figure out what is it that they need, and you provide that to them, and that will help. Hopefully that helps. Anything to add, Yoko? No? Okay. All right. Next question is from Debbie. We have a 8-year-old male Chihuahua and a 1-year-old female Yorkie. The Yorkie chases the Chihuahua and nips at his hind legs, and he is scared of her, even though he is much larger. What should I do? So you have an 8-year-old Chihuahua and 1-year-old Yorkie, and the Yorkie chases the Chihuahua. Yorkie chases the Chihuahua. That is
Smaller.
Yeah. That is strange because usually Chihuahuas do that activity, the behavior of biting the hind leg. So if that is happening, so you have an 8-year-old and 1-year-old, right? That is the problem. The age difference is the problem. The 1-year-old needs an opportunity to play with younger ones. You have to take it to the dog park or provide some opportunity with friends and families and neighbors, doggy daycare, maybe something like that. Give that opportunity, give something to your 1-year-old Yorkie to play with younger dogs. Your older dog that you have is not a good candidate for your younger one. So I have a young and old dogs as well, but but fortunately I have a doggy daycare where my young one Annie gets to play with other dogs, other young ones, right, and doesn't bother my old one. That's the problem. You just have to come up with a way to give an opportunity for your young one to play with young other dogs. That would be my solution. The next question is from Abanushu. I'm saying it right, I believe. Abanushu. We take our 10-month-old Beagle for a walk twice a day, but when we aren't able to because of weather or work, he keeps barking for hours. No matter how much we say no, what can we do? This is a good question. Again, remember that you need to provide your dog's daily 5 essential needs. Okay? Not just saying no. Exactly. You can't just say no and that will replace everything and it will replace exercise and training and socialization. In magic, the magic word of no does not apply here. You have to somehow come up with a way that you can stimulate your dog mentally and physically. So let me give you a sample. So this is an opportunity for me to actually show you and explain to you about the service that I provide, which I'm very excited to bring it to you, which is my virtual dog training, Zoom dog training, that you can register now and work with me one-on-one virtually anywhere that you are, right? It's a virtual dog coaching and training session. We do a lot during this session. So I'm going to show you an example how we
You're
do.
going to train her in the morning with a simple commands of sit, stay, and come. These are the three commands that you're going to use and start for now. So I'm going to show you, and then I want you to do it with story. Okay? So one of the first things that we teach a dog is yes and no. Yes and no means you're doing the right thing. No, you're not doing the wrong. You're doing the right thing. You're not doing the right thing. You're doing the wrong thing. So the way I teach you now that she's learning yes and no. So as soon as you bring her to you and you say, good girl, you're going to say sit, stay. Okay, so sit, stay. So let me see if it's doable. If not, I'm going to teach you how to do it properly. So let me see your corrector.
No. Sit. Stay.
So that's not a sit. Corrector to sit.
Okay.
That's it. Yes. And then stay.
Do you use hand signals?
Yes. Stay right there.
Stay.
That's it. That's it. Very good.
Stay. No. Stay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. Stay.
Good.
2, 3, 4, 5. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Very good. Nice. Very good. That's perfect. So we're going to.
I just said we have a good goal to work on.
Exactly. Yes. So did you enjoy this session?
Definitely.
Yes. Would you recommend this training method and this system to others?
Yes, if they have I would think that luckily we have this long hallway.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. It's helpful when you have a lot of space. But yes, definitely, you're very clear. It's easy. It's easy steps to remember.
Great.
And I like how you use your dog to show what you mean by it.
I hope you did too. And
No,
if you
I
have
did as
any
well,
questions,
yes.
as I said, just send me an email.
Okay.
There you go. So there gives you an example and an idea of how the Zoom virtual training works. Okay. So I work with you one-on-one. I teach you exactly what you need to do. I solve the problems within that session. Most of the time, I guarantee you that I will solve the problem. If I can't solve the problem, what I will do, I will work hard to help you within the next few weeks or months to solve the problem. But I'm so confident that I can solve your problem, whatever problem that you have, within one session. And there is also follow-ups within this session, which I'm going to send you videos, emails, and documents and files that you can read and watch and work even more with your dog one-on-one with me. Lots of things. So if you're interested, I have left the link in the chat area that you can go ahead and check it out and register if you need my help to work with me one-on-one. So it is something that is possible to do. So as you could see, for example, where was I? I was here. So as you could see, this lady, she also works all day and she has to leave the dogs home alone, and the dogs are excited and all that. So I taught her how to exercise the dog properly before going to work, so the dog can get stimulated physically, mentally, emotionally, so it can relax throughout the day. Right? So I taught her a technique and games and training system that she can do every day with her dog. If you can walk your dog, for example, whether there's a rain or weather related, or there's something else happening, you have to come up with a way of doing an activity with your dog, a short activity that replaces that walk, replaces that activity, that physical activity that the dog needs. By using my training system, which is using play and praise reward system, you can hit 3, 4, even 5, or even 10 birds at once, right? You're accomplishing a lot of things when you're using a proper training system with your dog, where it gets the job done, and also it gets the dog to relax and behave properly. So one other tip that I have, if for some reason you think you're not able to walk the dog because of the weather or work or things like that, wake up half an hour early that day and either go for a walk or do what I usually do or suggest to do, is stimulate your dog at home using play and praise reward system. So if you want to learn more how it's done, how you train the dog using play and praise reward system, make sure to register to my virtual Zoom dog training, which the link is in the chat area at the moment. You can go ahead and register, learn more, or work with me anytime. Hopefully that helps. Let's go to the next question, and I'm going to go a little bit faster now. Yes, there are so many questions that I'm going to go a little bit faster now. Georgia, I have question is coming from Georgia. I have a Labradoodle and I've never had of leash, but on long lines of rope. She does great, but we have a guard donkey and horses. The donkey is trained to kill coyotes and any animal that isn't. How do I get her to lose interest in them? They are the only reason she's still on the leash. She listens when I yell for her to come beside when she sees the horses. You know, one of the things that I in this case, in this situation, I would say, since you have animals who are taking care of the main reasons, which are the protecting the dogs from you're saying is a guard donkey. I've never knew that donkeys can become a guard donkeys. That is amazing. And you have a horse too that is guard horse and donkey. That is that is mind-blowing. I'm surprised that you have animals like that. That is great. So you already have that, and your dog doesn't have to work. So your dog is looking for work too, right? So what you need to do is give your dog some job to do, something else, right? Let your dog get stimulated with something else, right? You could do agility with your dog. If you're living in a farm that you have donkeys and horses, I'm sure you have space. Do some agility with your dog. That is amazing outlet for a dog like that. That not only it's an outlet, but it teaches the dog to start working with you side by side and listen to you, really, like, you know, in getting tuned with you and listen to you even in details. Once you do that, I think you will have a way of dealing with your dog's issues. Hold on, let me see. I'm having an issue here. Technical problem. Just give me a minute. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave a link in the chat area. I'm going to call it agility. The equipment that I'm introducing to hold on. I'm going to call it agility training. I would say that would be my best tip for your case. As I said, your dog needs to focus on doing something else, doing a different task, different job. So agility would be a great option. All right. Thank you for the question. Uh, Latosa 18, just joining. I have a 7 month old big border collie who has started becoming a little bit fearful. I try to take her out and socialize her, but not force her to do scary stuff. Um, Zoe also will rough house with our dogs, other dogs, but they won't calm down no matter what I do or how much I separate them. What can I do? So there are two things happening here. One is a fearful, becoming a little bit fearful, and the other one, they're not coming, they're not settling down. Your both dogs. Okay, so if your dog is becoming a little bit fearful, is because, how do I put it? When you have a breed of border collie, they are prone to be like that. They are very, very sensitive breeds, sensitive dogs. They are very sensitive. Anything can um, trigger fear or sensitivity, over sensitivity. They can become scared of little things, right? That is natural. That is normal. That you have to understand what you have. You have a breed that is sensitive breed, and they will become fearful of things. My own dog, Annie, is a mix of few breeds, and there is a collie in there too. So there are days that I'm dealing with the collie. There are days that I'm dealing with the beagle. There are days that I'm dealing with the basset. Uh, there are days that most days I'm dealing with the collie. She's very fearful, not fearful, sensitive about sounds and things that she sees, right? So most days I'm dealing with that too. There are days that she doesn't care. She's a beagle. There are days that she's a collie, right? So understanding the breed helps you to figure out better way to deal with the situation. So understand the breed first, and then the way you deal with it is you let your puppy to say to you what it feels is the right thing to do. So if your puppy sees, for example, something and gets scared and goes and hides behind you, that don't force her to deal to face that thing, because if you do that, you're creating a relationship that teaches the dog to say that this I can't trust this person. Whenever I'm fearful, this person, this human who's supposed to be my caretaker, pushes me and puts me in front of the object that is fear, makes me be fearful. I can't trust this guy, right? So don't do that. Don't force the dog. What you want to do is you want to say, okay, this thing scared my dog. Next time, I'm going to approach it a little bit from further away, or I'm going to guide my dog to different direction or different energy, but I don't want you. It's a very sensitive and it's a very careful. You have to be very careful about the steps that you take. You don't want to be aggressive and angry. You don't want to be soft either, right? You don't want to say, hey, go ahead, face this. You don't want to do that, and you don't want to say, it's okay, you'll be fine. You don't want to be that either. You want to be somewhere in the middle. You want to be a firm but fair, clear human that tells the dog, okay, I see what you mean. I feel you. I understand you. But let me help you. Let me come up with different solution, and let me guide you to different approach. So that would be my solution about the fear. Understanding the breed, it opens up a different path of dealing with the dog. Now, if your dogs are roughhousing and they are not able to calm down, you just have to figure out which one of those two are the triggers, which one of them is the one that causes this to happen, and control that one. And teach that one that when I say no, for example, you stop. And hopefully the other one is going to learn from you and your other dog, right? So you got to teach the one who's the problem dog, deal with that one, not both of them. Deal with the one that is the problem dog and teach it to respond to your verbal cues. And next, C Shine. Yeah, C Shines is the next question and says, my latest English bulldog is too rough with my older Frenchie. I have to keep them separated, but I got the new puppy to be a playmate for my oldest. What can I do? I just talked about this earlier. You can't let a puppy, a young dog, to be a have a older dog playmate. It's rare that happens. There are some adult, senior, older dogs who love to play with puppies, but doesn't happen all the time. Puppies need the same puppy energy level, same age, same type of dog, kind of size and breed and energy level type of dogs to play with, so they can learn from them, practice with them and learn from them. Whereas if you bring a puppy and hope that your older dog is going to be entertaining your puppy, that's the wrong way and wrong approach of having dogs in general. You can't depend on your older dog to entertain your puppy. You have to allow your puppy to be puppy. You can take your puppy to dog park and hope to find good dogs that your puppy can play with. You can take your puppy to doggy daycare that has puppy section, for example, and only puppies there, and invest money and let the puppy to learn from the puppies. Ask friends and neighbors and family members if you could do puppy parties and bring puppy young good dogs, maybe young good dogs to play with your puppy, things like that. You can't, it's just not realistic and possible to always depend on older dogs to solve our problems. CMY family. CMY family, how are you? I'm very well. I'm doing very well. My question for today is, how do I get my dog to eat at the same time on a raw diet? How do I get my dog to eat at the same time on raw diet? I don't exactly understand what you mean by the question, but I think the question is, how can you get your dog to eat raw diet? I'll give you a.
It's on the raw diet, or it's feeding raw diet.
Is it?
Yeah. I've seen comments before. Just ask to specify.
Can you specify the question? But, since you asked this question, and I want to generalize it and give everyone a brief understanding of raw diet, and how easy and beneficial it is. In general, kibble or dry food is not a natural diet for dogs. No matter how much the food manufacturers or companies tell you that this is a good food for your dog, it's not. It's very cheap to produce, and it's very cheap to buy and give to our dogs. Therefore, it's not natural for dogs. Right? It's not natural to feed our dogs kibble or dry food. The natural food a dog should eat is raw diet, raw meat, and a little bit of raw vegetables, right? if you feed that simply by, you don't have to make it complicated. You don't have to make it scientific. It's just natural for dogs to eat that, right? A little bit of meat and a little bit of vegetables. All you have to do is just go to your local supermarket or wherever you buy your meat, ask for the cheapest meat, ask for the ones that are on sale. Just buy those meat, bring it home, put it in a bowl, grab some green leafy vegetable from your supermarket as well, kale, spinach, um, parsley, bok choy, green leafy vegetables. Just grab some of those that are on sale as well, bring it home, chop it up, put it in a blender, juice it up a little bit, make it soft, add to the meat, break one raw egg in the bowl, mix it up, feed that to your dog. Doesn't have to be that complicated. That is 100% better than feeding kibble, right? Now, if you want to go further than that, if you want to improve that even better, there are ways, right? There are options, there are ways that you can make it even better. So what I suggest you to do is I'm going to share a playlist on my channel that I've talked about tons about raw diet, and also I have brought many guests to the channel, many guests, professional holistic vets, professionals who are dealing with raw diet. They have come and talked about it, explained all about it. And go ahead and educate yourself and learn about raw diet and just make it better than what I just explained, right? The link is in the chat area. So as I said, simply a little bit of meat, a little bit of vegetables, one egg will do it, right? Other than that,
Put the follow-up question.
yes. So other than that, what you're doing, you're just improving this diet. I guess the question is, how do I get my dog to eat? She's very moody. You mean picky, right? Excuse me. If your dog is picky, there are two reasons. Okay, let me explain this. If that's happening, there's two reasons that happening. One, dogs usually they're not supposed to be eating 2 or 3, 4 meals a day. They probably will be happy with one meal a day, maybe even in some cases one meal every 2 or 3 days. Yes, believe it or not, that is normal. So if your dog is picky or moody, as you say, that doesn't eat, that means not hungry, is not interested in eating, right? Most animals, unlike humans, they prefer to fast. Fasting is something that makes them feel good. Fasting helps the body to heal, cleanse, and repair, right? So dogs mostly, if they have issue with their body, with their system, they will prefer to fast so they can take care of the system. So if you force the dog to eat, that means the dog is saying, you know what, I'm trying to heal myself. They're their own natural doctors. They know what to do. They want to repair themselves, and you're forcing them to eat, right? If your dog, like my dogs, they come and ask me to eat twice a day. So that means their body is saying, I need food. So we feed them twice a day. But there have been days that, for example, Harvey, my Beagle, he didn't want to eat dinner. And I didn't force him to eat because I know his body is saying I need to fast, I need to repair, mend, and fix things. So his body is telling him not to eat, and he's fasting. So that's one. One reason is that they're trying to fast. They're trying to heal themselves, right? So don't force the dog to eat, and respect that choice that they have made, and allow them to follow their gut sense, literally their gut sense. Now, the other reason is because probably your food that you're providing is not what they are looking for. So maybe change it. So, for example, if you're feeding ground beef and your dog doesn't like it, doesn't want to eat it, try turkey, try chicken, try buffalo, try kangaroo, try different meats. See, maybe that will, that's the one that hits the mark. The dog probably is saying, that's what I wanted. I wanted this protein. I don't do well with beef, but I love when I eat turkey, for example. Turkey makes me feel good. So I'll eat turkey, right? So provide what your dog needs. Provide variety. Don't just give beef, beef, beef all day, every day, or chicken, chicken, chicken all day, every day. Provide variety. Variety helps the dog to also become a little bit more enticing to eat. Okay. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that answered your question. You're welcome, CMY family. What is Nala's question?
Read two questions. I mean, same. Thanks for the.
Oh, thanks. Nala has a question. Thanks for the raw diets info, Saro. Wasn't sure how to get him on raw diet. As I said before, he is on kibble and has lots of warts. That's a problem. Do I introduce the raw diet gradually, for example, half kibble, half raw to start with? There are several ways of doing this, right? I prefer cold turkey. Now, here's what I would suggest, and this is something that I've learned through my own practices that I've done with my own dogs, and also I've learned from other professionals, right? So first of all, let me, a side note, give you an info that warts are the sign of insulin resistance. So when you have a dog who has insulin resistance, that's a clear sign that dog is being fed kibble, right? So that's number one signal to you that you should consider literally right away change the diet, right? So what I would suggest to do is stop feeding the kibble, give about 12 to 24 hours of fasting to the dog, and then feed raw diet. Simply keep, cold turkey, we call it, right? Because you're going from, pardon my English, garbage to clean food. You're going from kibble, pardon my English, garbage to kibble, to raw diet, right? So you're going from from dirty food to clean food, fresh food. So whenever you put fresh, clean food to the system, there's no need of transitioning. The body of your dog is dying to have that. Come to me, please. Whereas kibble, the body wants to get rid of. So I'll give you a great sign that you can test. If you're feeding your dog this much kibble, does your dog poop this much? If it does, that means it goes in and comes out plus the leftovers that were there from last time, right? So if your dog is pooping this much, that means your dog's body is not getting any nutrients. The food goes in as a filler, comes out as a filler, right? So the body not only doesn't get nutrients, it causes a lot of stress in the system and causes a lot of health issues to develop in the dog. Plus, because usually most kibbles, I would say 99.9% of the kibbles have toxins, have chemicals, have additives that they're not supposed to be there. All these can cause a lot of damage in the system, including warts, right? So definitely, I would just change the diet. Definitely, I will start feeding the clean, raw diet, natural diet, fresh food, species appropriate diet, and you'll see the difference. You know, I'll give you one more tip before we end the show today. All of you, if you want to try this too, especially Nala, when you change your dog's Nola, when you change your dog's diet from kibble to fresh food raw diet, you will see that for the first few weeks, your dog is going to do horrible. It's going to have diarrheas. It's going to have even maybe licking its paws and things like that. You're going to say, oh, this is horrible. I'm feeding fresh food and this is horrible. This is all things are happening. But understand that good things are happening actually. When you feed fresh food, your dog's body needs to detox and it will start detoxing. So all these garbage and things has to come out somehow, right? So they come up with diarrhea, they come up with throwing up, they come up with showing up in the sensitive areas of the body. And you will see horrible things are happening. But that's a good sign because it's cleaning is happening. The body is starting to clean, right? So don't feel bad when you start feeding fresh food. Nola says, thank you. Blame my vet. He's an allergic dog. So vet told me feed salmon and potato kibble. He poops a lot, but it is firm. It's still a kibble, it reminds me of the same problem that we had 20 years ago when we had Jonah, and he had food allergy as well. And the vet told us to feed him potato and salmon. And it did worse actually. Because of potato, not because of the salmon, but because of the potato. And also the vets forced me to buy their medicated food, prescription diet food, which was still kibble, which I was paying arm and a leg for that food. And it got worse and worse. It didn't get better. And that was good for my vet, for that vet, not for me, because that vet was making tons of money from me because I was going back and back, problem after problem. They were making tons of money out of me until I realized what the reality is and what the problem is and how to solve it. And I created a solution. Came up with a solution that actually worked. And that was simply feeding fresh food. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed this live session and you got your questions answered and you have now some idea of how to deal with your dog's behavioral issue. If you still need more help, right? If you still need more help, make sure that you go to my website, sarodogtraining.com, and see if we can work together, right? I have, as I said, a virtual Zoom dog training that is available for everybody in the world. And I'm very excited about this because now I can reach out to everybody, anybody in the world, and train them and teach them and help them to have a healthy and happy, well-behaved dog without the use of treats, food, aversive tools like shock collars, prong collars, choke chain collars, force or domination or being alpha. And we're going to use only play and praise as a reward system, and you're going to see amazing things happening. So if you want to work with me, let me know. Go ahead to sarodogtraining.com and contact me, or register for my virtual Zoom dog training, and I'll see you until next time. Have fun, and until next time, have fun with your dog. I said that, yes. Have a good time, and until next time, take care.